Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Decision365 and Decision Accelerator webinar. Today, we will be demonstrating two tools developed by DRI to enhance the abilities of Cloud Suite Industrial or Sightline. These tools leverage the interfaces you already know, Outlook and Excel. The first half of our webinar, we will focus on Decision Accelerator. Decision Accelerator is a streamlined solution for importing, exporting, and updating data in Sightline through the IDEO interface. The second half of our webinar, we will demonstrate Decision365. Decision365 allows users to manage orders directly in Outlook with automatic integration to Sightline, allowing you to review and edit orders coming from external systems before they hit your ERP. Presenting today is David Willett, Product Manager at DRI. David has over 30 years of experience working with Sightline and Cloud Suite Industrial as a user, consultant, and product manager. David also has 15 years of experience with EDI automation and continues to expand on that as DRI's product manager, helping to develop these new productivity tools that enhance the abilities of Cloud Suite Industrial and benefit our customers. Without further ado, David, take it away.
Okay, hi everybody. Sorry I'm not there looking at your faces in person, but you can go through this content and hopefully it's just as valuable to you. So the first of the two tools I want to go into is Decision Accelerator. As Emily stated, it's a tool designed to move data to and from Cloud Suite Industrial and Sightline. It does run for systems that are in the cloud or even systems that are on-premise, so we don't really care. We don't come in through the SQL layer, we come in through the IDO layer through an automation user, and I'll explain that in some slides in a little bit more detail. I realize some people may not be aware of that. It will work with any Mongoose-based system, so we do have some customers using it with Factory Track. They pull data from Factory Track, they pull data from Sightline, put it together into one report, and display data from both. The main interface is what you already know, it's Excel. We also have recently added the ability to do scheduled outputs. So you can have data pulled every night or throughout the day. And then the next bullet point down there and shared is snapshots. So you can share that data on a file system. You can share that data in Exchange or in SharePoint. So Decision Accelerator and Decision Accelerator 3.1, they are the same product. The difference is with 3.1 is a new release, we added some functionality. So the basic tool that's been around for a number of years and used by DRI consultants and DRI customers is typically for implementation by a super user or an IT admin. So for loading data for testing, deleting data, moving data between sites. You can pull data out of one site and push it into the other, so you're not having to rekey master data. It's very useful for implementations. And then also for keeping CSI or Sightline current, you can update your costs, update pricing, use an Excel spreadsheet to automatically increase pricing or budgets or things like that, currency exchange rates, job operation times, all those kinds of things customers continue to use the tool for from an administrator standpoint. Decision Accelerator 3.1, we wanted to target more repetitive use, more background use, and people who weren't just administrators. So we added the ability to do things in the background and on schedules. We added the ability to not have to be a super user anymore, so you can have users with just limited functionality. And then we also wanted to be able to share data with your trading partners. So you may want to share your inventory that you have on hand for a particular customer, or you may want to share the open purchase orders out for a particular vendor. So you can now do those things using SharePoint and Decision Accelerator and the background tools. And then again, expand on leveraging the tool you already know. So there's more and more things that we've done to support doing graphs and formulas in how we get the data out so that you can leverage Excel. So I mentioned this term IDO earlier. Many of you on this call know what an IDO is, but it is a technical thing, so I just wanted to have a couple screens here. The meaning came from Intelligent Data Object. What it is it's the thing right behind the screen field. So when you go onto any form in Sightline, and in this case, I'm on the item master, and there's that type field. Most of us have seen that. It's right below the unit of measure. When I go into the edit mode, I can see that its real name is model type. So model types is the property. And then in another area, I can see it's pulling from the SL items IDO. These wrap what's in the database, and they also sometimes have their own logic in them. So in Cloud Suite, when it comes to the IDOs, there's over 2,000 of them. There's about 2,500 of them. And when it comes to properties, there's over 40,000. So if you're an administrator, you can go to the IDO properties form. In this case, I'm pulling the properties for the unit of measures tab, and you can see the properties that are being used for the unit of measures. There's other information here that we won't go into, but default values and things like that. It's important to understand that what's in the IDO may or may not be exactly what's in the database. This is actually a better place to get data because it more accurately reflects what's going to be brought to the form or not. We've also changed it so super user is not required. So here I've created a user called DRI-RO for read-only _ SL customers. And I've given it a password called SL customers, and it's very low security. And the reason is the only thing it can do is when I set it up as an automation user and I set it up for the middleware, it only has access to this SL customers IDO. The ability to edit, execute, update is all revoked. It can only read. And then I also have it so it can also get information from those IDOs. This is not required. This capability did not exist before, so everybody had to be a super user. Why is this useful? Well, as an administrator of IT person, you could create a spreadsheet that would pull customer information out that you could then just send to customer service, and they could get their customer data any way they wanted in the Excel spreadsheet in the morning. You wouldn't be sending out a admin or super user password. When you install Decision Accelerator, you get a tab called Decision Accelerator, and that's it at the top right. I don't have time in this overview to go through all of these, but there's lots of functions and buttons and tools that we give you with that. One of them is the ability to schedule anything you do in the Decision Accelerator to run in the background, and it'll run on a every 5 minutes, once a day, however you want to do that. We're using the standard Windows features. Decision Accelerator has some standard actions, and we're going to go through these today and watch them in the demo. The first one, probably the most common, is filter select. It mass downloads data using a filter. So it'll attach to whatever Cloud Suite or Sightline site you have using the configuration name and the credentials, and it'll pull that data down. Insert will mass load much, much faster than paste rows append because it's not going through the form logic and validation. It also can access many fields and things that are in the database or in the IDO that the form may not have available. Update can change data. You can change single rows of data, or you could do a mass replace. I could say, for example, change all the product codes to purchase parts, and it would do it. Then insert update is a new feature. What it does is it tries to update the record, but if it can't find the record, it automatically inserts it. So it's kind of the insert and the update combined. In the past, to insert a record, you had to be sure it wasn't already there, or to update a record, you had to be sure it was already there. Insert update does both. This is the same first 4 rows in an Excel spreadsheet. I just have them overlap so that you can read them. So on the beginning, we have Decision Accelerator, how it gets its information. You can see right here, this is the service or the site it's going to access. That could be on your utility server, or it could be in the cloud. The configuration you're going to access, so LA, Dallas, or your own pilot or live. the IDO it's going to access, which is what I just showed you earlier, whether it's customers or purchase orders. And this is all standard, or it has been around for a long time. The stuff on the bottom now are new optional properties for creating snapshots. So you can see there we've added the ability to, say, calculate the formula every time the spreadsheet runs, or just hide a spreadsheet. So I'm using one spreadsheet, I'm pulling data out, I'm just using it for reference information. I really don't want it to be there when I send it out. So a lot of options there for reporting that we've added. We've also added the support for net change or formula support. And we've done that through some of those fields that were on the previous screen. But now automatically, when you run outbound report, it tells you the last row of data and it puts it in a field called end row. So I know what my last row of data is because it's right there in end row. So if it pulls 50 rows of data, end row will say 50. The other thing we do is we say what the last modified time was of the record. So we're keeping track of the data in Sightline changed to the 10,000th of a second, and we tell you what the last record was. So now we can use formulas and links and things and see, hey, what's changed since the last time I ran this? And if I want to, I could even do a filter select, pull data from one site, insert it into another based upon change. This is kind of a picture of how we do that. So these are two different spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet here, which I'm going to run today, runs and says, hey, this is the last data right here. The next spreadsheet links to it and says, find all the items with a record date greater than that. So this is now automatically populated, so you don't have to go in and key in this kind of information. You can do intelligent formula-based Excel tools to do last modified time and then link and get change data. Snapshots, you can do custom naming based upon data, just similar using the same tools I showed. The credentials are not included in snapshots, so when you run a normal DecisionExcelerator spreadsheet, it has the login information and credentials. Well, the outbound does not have that. You can hide things, and I mentioned earlier, you can write it to Exchange or to SharePoint. One of the benefits of going to Exchange is you could use the shared inboxes, which many people use. But if you use public folders, I could put this out so that people could either have it hidden completely or it's read-only only, and I have a historical snapshot of the state of whatever I'm pulling. And then SharePoint would also allow you to share it with customers. So I talked to you about end row here. Let's look at how this formula would work. So in the sheet, when it runs, the last row of data that was pulled is at row 389. Then we have a formula up here that says, take it from K6, this is K6, and whatever the value is in all PO items in K6, put it here. And I've created an intelligent name. So my name is now all POs from, and this is a PO number, to this PO number. So we can use snapshots, we can use tabs, file folders, SharePoint, Exchange. These are all different areas that we can put data and create snapshots. One of the areas that I said we can put it out is Exchange. This is right from Outlook. All the different runs of DecisionExcelerator have put them out, and there's my intelligent name, and you can see how it works there. So in the right-hand side, I have 4 POs for Wilcox processes. The first PO number is the first start of the description, and the last PO number is the last start. So this would allow you to send things to suppliers or customers and have intelligent naming. Here's another fun one. So up at the top, you can see we've done some APS pulling. So we pulled shop floor data that has forecasted, scheduled, and I forget the other one, I'm sorry, but has all the different types of loads for a work center, and the work centers are set up, and you can, of course, blow in or blow out or zoom in or zoom out using the Excel features. But again, those can be snapshotted on a daily basis. Here's what they look like in SharePoint, the same Excel spreadsheet. So enough of that. I'm going to show you a little bit how they work right now. So this is an output folder. This is just a folder that I have here where I just called it C Decision Accelerator Output. And when I open up a spreadsheet, there's no rules on what you put in a spreadsheet. I could have all these here combined in one spreadsheet. It just gets confusing. So the first thing I'm going to show you is filter select. So in here we have an X by everyone that's going to run. So we're going to skip this. We're going to skip the LA, but we're going to pull down from this one. We're pulling from this system, which happens to be local. We're pulling from a cloud system, which is the Dallas area. We're not pulling from the LA cloud system. We're pulling down some operations, and then the unit of measure, you'll see down here, these tabs all correspond to right here, and they've already been set up. So these are the IDO properties, and there's 400 IDOs for the item master. I don't want all that data. I just want this data. So I set it up here, and it'll pull it for me. When it gets to this UM, it says, hey, you don't have it. It'll create it automatically for you. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I'm going to run the Decision Accelerator, and it asks me what I want to run. So you're going to see it's connecting, pulled down 280 rows. Now it's connecting to the cloud system, pulled down 742 rows. Now it's connecting to another system. And there we go. So what does that look like? The interface on Decision Accelerator is pretty simple. When it says open Excel data, it's ready to go again. So if I open that same spreadsheet up, it created my unit of measures for me. I don't need these columns. I can just do, next time I run it, it'll run it without these columns. It pulled down the data from LA, pulled down Dallas. So all my data is there. So that is simple filter select. Next one I'm going to run, and I should point out, this is down below. It's logging everything it's pulling. It would be logging errors too, if you had maybe the wrong spelling of something. So all those things would be logged. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to load. I just have a bunch of data that I'm going to throw into the system. There's 700 some odd rows. I got a row 770 inside Cloud Suite. Well, all this data starts with 0402. So I'm going to just go in to Sightline here, and I'm just going to filter, and I don't have anything. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and run that. And I go to my Decision Accelerator, and I say open it up, and insert. And I'm inserting 100 rows at a time. So this is kind of fun because as it's going, I can watch my data. Okay, now it's inserting the next rows, but there's my data already. So of course, if I've got nothing to do, I can just kind of watch it go. But compare this to paste, roast, append. It'll put a lot of data in fast, and you can determine the record cap and the size you want, things for that as well. So I'm going to let this keep loading. A couple things I want you to notice here is I want you to notice that I have some finished good materials. If I get in here, I'm finished goods. The other thing I want you to notice is the family code is Decision365 for all these. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change those in just a moment, but I'm going to wait for this to run. So now this is running against the cloud, and it's inserting data into my cloud system, which I'll be in a little bit. So let me go back to this folder. So let's talk about update. So update works two ways. Single, meaning there's a filter. I find this row and I update it with this. So whatever it says, I now update it with that new data. One important thing to do, which I'm double checking for myself, is I have to be sure I know what database I'm updating, which I do. So I should be good there. Let me go into the database. Let me filter here, and if I, okay, so it's a bicycle model 30, and I'm going to change its name to long tote. And I'm also going to change these things to the order max, order mins. Then I'm going to go in, and I'm going to change all the family codes that meet the criteria Decision365 to Decision366, and I'm going to change everything to purchase parts. I am showing you a loaded gun here. Obviously, you want to be very careful how you would run such a thing, because there is no undo. So, you want to run it against a test database or something like that. But it's going to connect. And let's see if it changed this already. It might have. Yep, it already changed the data. So now it's doing the mass change. And let's get rid of, let's stop this. Hold on. 0402. Excuse me. So all these parts are all purchase parts now. Product code is purchase part. And on the planning screen, everything's a D366. So I did a mass change in Cloud Suite. And if I go back, this probably says Open Excel, and it's done. Next one to show you is an output. And this is fun. This is a vendor report. It's going to go out here, and it's going to pull from a cloud system. It's going to pull, and this one's running in the cloud, so I'm going to close my local Cloud Suite Sightline instance. And it's going to pull just for a particular vendor, and it's going to populate that screen and populate that and get all POs and things like that. So let's go ahead and run that one. And it'll do a couple different items. So why don't I go in here, and I'm going to log into Cloud Suite here while that's running. Did you notice the window? In here in the window, it's got that intelligent name. So here's my all POs from LP20. And then if I want to look at Wilcox plating, there's my Wilcox plating one. It's with only that tab. So I could send this, sorry for the green. I just used that background, a little bit of advertising there, but I could send out just my POs to Wilcox plating. These also did go to the SharePoint site as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to go in and we're going to run this, and I'm going to show you a little bit how, I forgot what I was going to do. Oh yeah, logging into Cloud Suite, here we go. So let me go into the purchase orders. Let me find some purchase orders and sort by just ones that are opened, and I'm going to do some changes. And then we'll open it up and try it on changes. So I just want to find status of ordered. And you can see I'm running from SaaS Cloud, and I'm just going to be real simple and say I'm just wanting to change these to today's date. And maybe one more. So I've changed 3 POs, today's date. I'm going to go ahead and save those. Great. I think I'm good. Let me change one more here, just to be sure. Okay, well, let's see what happens, because I think I still managed to change it, but if I didn't, then we'll have the obligatory thing that didn't work right. If I open this up, here's my formula, which links to that. And this can be run to pre-calculate too, but it pulled that out of the last one from our main PO. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And if I open this up and do data load PO change, so my online warning, fortunately, was just a warning, and it did grab my data. And in this case, well, I just have the last PO changes. I've set up one of these to append, and the other one not, but those are the POs that I changed since I ran the first one. So you can see, great way to get some data. These three, I'll just run really quickly, and let's just run two more. Filter delete. What I wanted to highlight in filter delete is there is no undo. It finds how many records it's going to delete. It'll delete them all, set me up for my next demo. But again, feature that you want to use with caution because it does delete all your data in mass. So I'm going to go ahead and say no on that. And I want to get out of that. Okay. So the last one I want to show, and this is kind of fun, I'm going to pull from two databases simultaneously. So I'm bringing up two objects here. This one is going to pull APS information and load charts from LA, which is SAS. This one from the local. So I'm going to say, let's pull the SAS one. While I'm pulling the SAS one, I'm going to also pull the local LA. And what you'll see is it's starting to pull the data, find the records from two different databases. This is another trick. If you have multiple usernames or things like that, you can multi-thread Decision Accelerator. So here's my LA data. And not so exciting data-wise, but you know, the one in the cloud, this pulled my APS scheduled, plan, and forecast data for different work centers that I had set up. At the same time, there's my ones that I pulled from my LA SAS site, and it's going to look similar, but had different data in it. Okay, so one of the capabilities too, so let's just go to how my life might be here is I'm dealing in an inbox, and I might have Decision Accelerator right here. And you can see what I have in Decision Accelerator is these are the things that we just ran. So it's using the built-in Excel viewer, and I can just click on it, you know, view in, view out. There's my Wilcox plating. Okay, so that is what Decision Accelerator will do for you. That's a very fast overview. And the next thing we're going to go to is we're going to go to what we can do with Decision365. And so I'm going to use my same Outlook session and get set up for that. So let's talk about it a little bit first. So I'm going to actually explain the middle column first. So what's the similarities and differences? Typically, the use case would be different, but in both cases, we're building on API and DRI automation experiences. We've done our own APIs to Cloud Suite and Sightline. This is something that we've been doing for many years since it's been put in. They're both focused on reducing manual data entry, and they both leverage a familiar UI. We are really pushing the idea of why go out and design yet another UI when we can exploit some very powerful ones already. So on the Decision Accelerator, what does it do? It can consolidate things from multiple areas. It's great for ad hoc data changes and updates. Can pull data in from multiple areas, leverage Excel and formulas for snapshots. Decision365 is more an enterprise deployment. It's designed to catch errors and data before they hit Sightline. It's a visual and productivity oriented. So we are not trying to be an AI. We're not trying to be artificial intelligence or automated workflow. We're just trying to help you do what you do anyway, just faster. We show both EDI and Sightline data together on the same screen. That's very unusual for interfaces. Most interfaces just take data from one location and then they put them into another location and it's up to you to figure out what the difference is or what changed. Decision365 is all deployed from our cloud servers. So we have a Microsoft Azure server farm, and that's where we run things from, and we reach out to the Sightline systems out there through the APIs that you already saw we know how to use with Excelerator. We reach in that way. So the final statement is the design is to be commerce simplified. And a little bit more about it. So I've mentioned all this. It's really an inbound console. We also do outbound. It's just we don't put outbound in the Outlook console because it's typically just sending data out. But data that comes in, like on the sell side, typically it would be an inbound order from EDI or web, Shopify, Magento. A lot of customers have web stores. On the buy side, you might send out purchase orders, but you're getting an inbound ship notice. We can automatically receive the purchase orders, show you the ship notices. They may be off. Invoices may come in. We have to match. They may be off. Again, the interface you already know. We've done over 1,900 trading partner customer documents. So we've done, cookie inbound orders with Kroger. We've done swimming pool products with Home Depot and Lowe's and things like that. Over 1,900 total documents DRIs sold. We also have direct web store APIs. I mentioned those. We're all managed cloud-based, and again, we're a productivity tool. The idea is people still run the process. This is essentially how we fit in. So Decision365 is the interface tool. We take data. We mainly work for EDI through SPS. SPS, we know that team. We're talking to them every week, and that's our preferred partner. But other customers, for different reasons, have different types of EDI trading partners, and we are also doing this with TrueCommerce and Edict, as well as Sterling Gentran and other types of data. So the idea here is somebody here maintains the EDI relationship with the big trading partners. They maintain the specs. They maintain the translation. We take it in and make it all look the same. We do the same with these folks. We take in web orders and make it all look the same. So a few pictures. Here, orders would come in. This would be Outlook, and I'm showing you I've got a pilot system. I've got some different customers up that I'm looking at, and here orders are coming in, and these are my POs. And instead of saying from and received and things, it says PO, item, cust item, description. All that information's there. These are complete. These are orders in Sightline or Cloud Suite Industrial right now. So everything that's demand comes in here. These have not processed yet. That's why they're yellow. So this is the data as it comes in. This is the data as it came in and it was matched up. See some more pictures on that. So once it runs, in the purple requested data, that label is buyer quantity. On the right is the Sightline quantity. So the buyer's buying 6 of each of these. It's going to work out to being 0.67 of the Sightline unit of measure. So why is the font different? Well, we're trying to alert you ahead of time. Hey, you just received an order in a partial unit of measure, and while we're sure you want to take that order anyway, maybe, but we expect you to want to take it anyway, you're finding out bad news early. It's good news rather than at ship time. So we filter for these kinds of things. We can compare dates, terms, prices, unit of measures, all of these things we can compare and add value add in the interface. You'll see the requested ship date on the left-hand side. We could turn that into the Sightline date or even a CTP date or whatever formula you have. That's the due date in Sightline. Just beating this again, another part coming in with a unit measure conversion, and then also a case of where the order was rolled back. So we're going to look at this a little bit more, but the ability to catch problems up front. More examples of value add in the interface. This is very hard to see, but down here, this order is off price by 16%. The orders right below it are also off price, but they're close enough that we're not sweating it. So we can set tolerances to change fonts and colors based upon things that are important to you. Here we have the fractional unit to measure thing again in off price. But visually, you can see quickly what's going on. You can also see this particular order up here, line 2 didn't go in. It's an exception, but the other lines did go in. We have the capability of rolling out the entire order if the line doesn't go in, or just dealing with the individual's exceptions. Once we put this all together, it was kind of surprising to us, but a customer came back and said, hey, sales, found 2,500 lost sales just in October based upon implementing this. So we started seeing that there's tremendous value in doing more than just being an interface. And that's where we've been spending a lot of time and effort, is how to make it more accurate, less labor, and then catch errors. Normally when things come in, we find them using the customer contracts or in Sightline, the item cross-reference. If it can't find that item, I should mention, we have the capability to also find things off the item master too. We find that this is the best practice because people and customers often miss a comma or a dash or replace it with a slash. It's just easier to do this. But this is an example of a rollback. So when it can't find an item, we have a situation where we said, okay, the whole order's got to be good or we don't accept anything. We're going to run this feature we have called Fix It, and you're going to see how Fix It works today. What Fix It will do is you can say, okay, we don't know the exact data, but hey, this part needs to be added. We need to add it to Sightline. So just fix it and add it the way it came in. Many other systems will send you an email and say, please go have your person add this part number. Please go have them add this customer. Please go have them add the pricing or the cross-reference. Fix It will add these automatically. So it'll automatically add it to Cloud Suite customer contracts with the pricing. It says Fix It's added, so you can go ahead and search on it. It'll also add, like I said, it adds pretty much everything in the, well, it adds everything in the entire EDI process, except it doesn't know unit of measure conversions. It doesn't know there's 6 per case. So as long as you have the unit of measure conversion set up, everything else can be auto added. Just to show you a couple other things that we've done for customers. Some customers in EDI, this one's Wayfair, they will not accept an order that isn't fulfilled complete. And you can reject the order right up front, but one of the rules is make sure we can fulfill this entire order before we take it. We go through every line, make sure there's inventory for it. If it is, it goes in. If not, it gets rejected. A lot of customers in EDI or even web send repeat orders. One of the things we do is we see that this order is already in the system, and then we compare it. So this is my buyer quantity. This is the ERP quantity. So they put in differences, and we give you the differences. This is a change in date. So we compare prices, quantity, and date, and we tell you what's changed in all of these so that you can deal with it rather than having to go and look through. And then, of course, we have links to the orders and things. So let's go in and see how that works. So what I did is I'm using data by permission here that I've used before, but you can see I've got about 1,200 order lines in here. And I can look through here and I can see on the right-hand side, this is the data as it came in. This is the data as it was written to Sightline. I have a view that shows me anytime anything is off. So I see in this case they're off by 6.3%, and I'm only losing 7.5 cents. And if I look through here, okay, so it's pretty easy how I can go through here. I'm going to also, I have these already done, so I'm going to type in a PO number, and that's how quickly I found the items that matched out of 12,000 line items in the cloud. If I wanted to see all my line items that were for Chicago, that's how quickly we found it. So I can look through this way, but I've got a quick way to find information that's here. Now, one of the things we normally do is we have different views. So this particular customer, if they just want to look at their exceptions, they can go through and just run a view and just look at exceptions only. So I'm going to bring up Excel here. I want to show you something. This is kind of fun because a lot of people don't know you can do this. So if somebody said, hey, I just want to look at Monday's exceptions. I can just drag Monday's exceptions right into Excel, all parsed. Okay, and of course you can do that with any view. Change the view. They just want to see things that are off by 4%, and there they are, and they could just, take that order in, and that would come in as well. So pretty neat integration, Office integration there. Easy way to get in and find things. Okay, so let's go run some as they come in, and I want to show you a little bit how you would expect it to run. So as the orders come in from the web, I should have started the process before, but a process will start, and it'll start being populated, and we'll watch the data come on in. So we're parsing this. This is a default view I like to use. On the right-hand side, you'll see some of these are rolled back. Some of these are complete. This one's got a particular issue. If I go click on it, it says, oh, it can't find that part. So I can go through here. Oh, these are just great. These are fine. Okay. And if I look at these, I can look them up by UPC code. I could actually view the customer order line in Cloud Suite. So if I go ahead and do that, I should have logged in first, but sorry about that. So if I go ahead and click on that, there's the actual customer order number that came in from EDI. And it'll give you some other useful links too. Let's view the item. So we're giving you the ability to work from Decision365, but quickly link to where you want to go. So as we look at this, we had some parts that were off here, things like that. If I go to this particular item, it tells me that unit of measure was not found. What I can do is I can go and say, okay, I want to fix it. And then I also want to tell it to process. This is some other stuff, and I'm gonna do one of these too. This is a forecast. So items that were in near term in a forecast, this is a forecast that came in for a part, they became customer orders. Items that are out long term became item master customer forecasts. So we have the particular part out there, and then we actually have all the forecasts for that part. Okay. So again, so this is pretty much all I wanted to show in this particular area. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if this fixes it up for me. I'm gonna say fix it. Gonna process it. Oh, I didn't have that sorry, I didn't have that as a complete process. So all these orders are in. I did want to show you one other area here where data comes in. A lot of customers want to see how that data looked when it first came in. And this is how it comes from SPS. So from SPS, it comes directly as inbound XML that they've translated. So this is for Grainger. And you can see Grainger uses a lot of notes. Actually, I'll go back, then I'll show you that in a second. I forgot to show you that. This is, an Amazon order, a Walmart order. So all of them have slightly different formats and things like that. If I go back here and I look at my Grainger order, this is another thing that we do, is if I want to view the order header, we've got all the order notes and things like that are all in Cloud Suite as well. So we're doing a very thorough interface through the API, making it so that there's nothing that the customer has to do except actually start building and processing the order.
So that concludes our webinar today. Thank you, David. Thank you to all of our attendees. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all in San Antonio in 2021.